if you're saying they're not looking at it from a transactional perspective.
Correct.
You get this, I get this, then you get this, and then I get this. In fact, team, in some ways, actually infers transaction in a way, right? It's like the two of us have these different things that we do, and if you do them, then I do what I'm supposed to do, right? And if you fail to do what you're supposed to do, then I can't operate correctly, and et cetera, right? It almost appears on its face to be transactional. So when you say indigenous people, for instance, they don't have that type of relationship, it's not transactional, well, then what is it exactly?
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, that's what the idea is like, so what are the things which would not be transactional then that would be valued there?
You know, honestly, for me to really dig deeper into it, I would like the dictionary definition of what transactional means so that I could have a real basis on it.
I get, you get. That would be it. That's a good enough summarization. Like, I give you $1, you give me this iced tea. That's a transaction, right?
Okay.
So I get, you get would be as simplified as I could make the idea of transactional.
I go to work, you do the dishes.
Okay.
Right.
So then a mother and child go also into transactional.
Do they?
Yeah, no way, because
What is the child paying?
The child brings joy to the mother.
Not
The
necessarily.
mother wanted. Well, not all mothers.
Not necessarily.
Not all mothers.
Well,
but,
don't
you know,
you have a duty to take care of the child even if you don't like the child?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
some.
Well,
There's some women that are.
I mean, I think you do, right?
I think the
If not, you go to
the
jail.
transaction is your bloodline continues or your family lineage continues.
What if it's not your kid? Even if it's not your
it's not your kid?
if you're just walking down the street, right, and there's a kid and he's like on a mound of dirt, crying, like you have a duty to take care of that kid, right?
As a human, no.
Yeah, I mean,
No? Wait, no?
I don't think it's a duty. I don't feel like a lot of people think it's a duty. I think that's just more of like a
Courtesy?
Yeah, courtesy.
To who?
It's a courtesy.
Guys, wait. Come on.
No.
Let's wait. No. Break it down. We're talking
It's a
about
courtesy?
raising a child, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you have a baby, there should not be any transactional value. It shouldn't be a courtesy.
yeah,
no.
It
Well, it
is
would
a
be the
duty
opposite,
for
right?
you
For
to
your
take care
child,
of that.
yes.
Yeah, but I mean, any child in your possession, any child that you are responsible for,
Yeah, he
is
was
your
talking
duty
about
to
just a
take-
random child.
Yeah, he was talking about a
on
random child.
pile of
No,
dirt.
no.
But if
I
you
would
see
agree
a
with him though.
random child-
If
Hang on, I
there's,
was
I'm
drawing
gonna
a
say, but
parallel,
she's saying like that it's different what I'm saying because you're talking about a random child. I would say, as
You
a
still have a
human
duty,
being, if
yeah.
you're walking down the street and see a random child crying in dirt, it is your duty to take care of that
I'd be
child.
like, where's their
playing in
parents?
dirt. But
Where's their
yes.
parents? That's what I would say.
I'm not.
That's heartless as hell. If you would see a random baby,
I have.
Totally.
you
That's
wouldn't
not
try
my-
to figure out what you
I
would.
would, I would do it out of the kindness of my heart
No,
as
it's
a
a
human,
duty.
as a
It
human,
isn't kindness, but it's a duty.
as a human being. I would not leave the kid on a pound of dirt. But again, I would get pissed off at their parents because
Sure, that's what we're talking
where
about.
is their parents?
That's
Okay, so let's-
They have a duty
we're talking
for
about
them.
you
I
have a
know.
duty to not walk past that
So,
child.
so we can explore that, like real quick, just to make the point. Let's say you and somebody else were walking at the same. You didn't know each other.
Okay.
He's walking this way. You're walking this way. Baby in the dirt crying. He just walks by. Right, does nothing. You go over and you're like, holy shit, there's a baby in the dirt crying, right? And you like grab him and you're trying to take care of this baby or whatever. Did that guy do something wrong?
Yes.
Okay, well then
That's
what
because
you're
you have a
saying.
duty
What you're saying
to
is
do
that there's a
that.
duty
No,
there.
that's like a dick move. Like as a
No,
person,
because you have a duty
But
to take care of that child. I don't even really agree with him half the time, but I'm just saying, like, you have a duty as a human being with any conscience. You have a duty to take care of a
see
male
what's wrong
child.
with this child.
wouldn't-
You
it's
have a
wrong
moral
for him.
obligation.
Yes, it's wrong
Moral
for him
obligation.
to walk past.
Well,
yeah,
the moral
okay,
obligation's
yeah.
a
I
duty.
get what you're
Like,
saying
of
now.
course, we would just do that out of the kindness of our own
Yeah.
heart, of course. But regardless, if we would do it out of the kindness of our own heart, it is a duty to take care of a lost child or,
Right.
you know.
Okay, yeah, no, I get what you
So
mean.
yeah, so
Yeah.
this
I think you just didn't understand
this is the
Yeah, I
point-
didn't get it.
well, this is
Yeah.
the point where we're
It's
talking,
wrong,
We're
right.
talking
Yeah.
in relationships about the distinction between what are your duties and what's a transaction. And so often in modernity, the way that this gets kind of parsed up is, if this guy's not cutting the mustard or this girl's not cutting the mustard, done, right? I'm not getting the end that I deserve for what I'm putting in, right? That's the transactional nature of relationships. And so what's being asked here is, well, are there higher duties other than, well, I don't feel fulfilled, or this transaction's not being completed to my standard? Is there some other duty there that should keep you moving in a relationship, regardless of that?
Emotional
If you're married.
irrelevance.
Well, I think just communication, I mean, that's a duty. And if you're not feeling fulfilled in one way or for
Sure.
what you previously agreed upon, then that's where communication comes in. You can't have a relationship, transactional or not, without communication. So I think that's what is the biggest base of a relationship.
Well, then what
But
would you say you have as a duty in a relationship?
as a duty, I'd say
That's not transactional.
that's not transactional.
Yeah.
So I think a duty that you have in a relationship is to always be open
else?
to what the other person is saying. Because you can like hear somebody, but you're not listening, right? You can be like, oh, yeah, totally, yeah, that'll change, and then not listen and not put action into it.
But-
I wouldn't consider that transactional. That's just, if you care about this person, you're gonna listen, even if they're not directly telling you what they want.
Yeah, but you also have duties to not listen, right?
Can
Like
you
if someone-
elaborate?
like whatever you would consider verbal abuse to be. Wouldn't you have a duty to not listen to that?
If somebody is verbally abusing you in a relationship, you shouldn't be in that relationship. So
Well, okay, that's easy to say, right? But anybody who says that, well, it depends on how you define verbal
I've been in a verbally
But
abusive relationship.
let's say you're
and
with
I
somebody who
understand,
for
but Mm-hmm.
like 4 years who's just fine and quips off at the mouth and says something mean to you, right? You
Yeah.
could classify that for verbal abuse, but you're not leaving them over it. You know what I mean?
I would classify verbal abuse as continuous, like it, because
Yeah,
obviously
this is-
everyone's human and we all have our reactions sometimes that we can own it, we can admit ourselves we shouldn't have reacted that way. But if you continuously react that way against your partner,
Yeah, but that's my
I
point.
would constitute that as
yeah, sure.
abuse.
But that's my whole point is like just verbal abuse in and of itself. The
you can
idea
have-
of it happening once or twice, right? Or let's say once a year even, right? From either party. I don't think that people would normally classify that as relationship ending, right? It has to be some kind of pattern.
it does have to be a pattern for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
It has to be some kind of pattern of behavior, right?
But then when you say that though, then I think about physical abuse, and I don't think there should have to be a pattern. And I said too,
I agree.
the first thing I said was that there should be a pattern for it to be verbal abuse, but then I thought about it, and there shouldn't be a pattern for it to be constituted as physical abuse. So maybe that's not the right, I don't know what the right terminology would be, because I do think it is a little different. But
So that's where the duty ends.
it's
Yeah,
definitely
so
wishy-washy.
this is the idea is just to ask. The whole idea here is just to ask this, right? If it's not transactional and there's duties, what are they? If you say, well, they have a duty to listen to everything I say. It's like,
For me, it's not
it's
transactional.
like, well, maybe, but when you think that
Well,
through, that
you
doesn't
can-
make too much
You can listen,
sense, right?
but there's a difference between listening and believing.
Yeah, but do you even really have a duty to listen to everything everybody says? I mean,
No.
No,
Not
but for
really.
your- no,
Even
what
with
I'm
your
saying
partner,
is-
right?
What I'm saying is you have a duty to like I said, listen and not ignore. Like that's what I'm saying. So if I'm sitting down with my boyfriend and I'm like, hey, I really didn't like how you like kissed that girl at my birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like night's supposed to be about me.
Yeah,
And
what
then
okay.
that never happened.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
No,
fake
I understand,
scenario.
I understand. Yeah. So is it verbal abuse when my wife she likes to talk a lot, right? And like all the time. And is it verbal abuse when I'm playing an Xbox and I'm in the middle of mission 3 on, and I'm like, I'm literally gunning people down in this game and I'm having a good time. And she comes in and she's like, blah, 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 and I'm like, shh, I don't want to hear it.
No. If you said, shut the fuck up, bitch, that's
that
a little
would be-
different.
Yeah.
What about, sometimes I quip like that. I'm like, shut up. I'm busy playing games.
But I
not
said, shut up,
everything
you
is a big
stupid
deal if you
bitch.
live
Like, it's
with
like,
her.
it's all about, you
So-
said
so-
intention.
But so
Intention
the
is
thing
a
is, if
big
you say
thing.
no, then the idea here is like, and the duty for this listening thing is very confusing, isn't it?
So yeah, I think we're going a little too deep into it. I just meant like if your partner comes up to you and is like, oh my God, I love that restaurant that we went to last night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe plan an anniversary around that. Like listening to the small details and taking into account what they really like, because that's going to be out of the kindness of your own heart. They're not asking you to take them out to that restaurant again. You're just doing that out of the kindness of your own heart. That I feel like is really fundamental, because I'm the type of person that loves when somebody remembers a small detail about me. It could be as simple as like, oh, I love hot Cheetos, and somebody brings me like one of those tiny $1 bags of
this
like
still
hot
sounds
Cheetos.
very transactional.
How is that transactional though if you're not expecting it?
Well,
if you're not,
the idea here is like, I like this thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? you do this thing for me, then I happy.
Well, when you
Right?
phrase it
So
like
it's like
that,
it's
but
like
no,
it's
no,
like
no, no.
swiping
Well,
a
that's
credit
why I
card,
think
right?
It's not
transactional
that-
is like about how many times, right? Like you said, I do dishes, you go work, right?
If
That's the
it's done that.
transaction. But if you can't go to work for a year, whatever it is, and I still do dishes, I go to work, it's no longer a transaction, because that's when, like, yeah, if you have that agreement with your partner and the one time they can't do it, you're like, sayonara. That's
You're not supposed to
transactional.
The
But if you
reason-
have
Talk about that.
understanding and discretion.
So I'll just end it here so Brian can move it on, right? We'll just end it very quickly.
Okay.
So the idea, I just have one question. If you're in a relationship, right, and it's heavily on the transactional side, you don't feel like there's necessarily a ton of greater duties, and you don't feel fulfilled in that relationship, should you leave the relationship?
Not without talking about it first.
Relationship is different than marriage, because I believe once there's marriage involved, you have a duty
Just
to that partner.
relationship.
Relationship, you should be finding your one true match that you don't have. Like it should be, obviously you have issues, but it should be pretty easy before you have a mortgage and kids involved. You should be pretty aligned and connected.
Fulfilled?
I would have a conversation with my partner about it. If I'm not feeling fulfilled in the relationship, that could actually be my doing, that could be my fault, because I'm not, seeking out friends to hang out with, and I'm just totally basing my relationship on their happiness, which is not healthy. That's a codependence thing. So,
It just sounds like a transactional thing, honestly.
No, not really. I mean, when you make your partner your sole focus and your sole world, in my experience, I was never expecting anything in return. Maybe like a couple date nights here and there, which I don't feel like is hard to ask, but
Well,
you
that
know,
makes it transactional.
yeah. But what I'm saying is communication needs to happen before deciding, this isn't